It's looking like we are officially back on. I sincerely apologize to anyone who may be experiencing disconnections throughout this game. Our internet here in the arena is very poor, and we are hoping that tomorrow we will have better internet. But as I was mentioning, awards have come out lately. Actually, yesterday, the awards for women's basketball in the Summit League came out, and three Roos secured awards. Elena Contreras, a guard, and forward Dominique Phillips secured positions on the all-newcomer team. Meanwhile, guard Imani Bennett secured a spot on the all-freshman team. Only one Maverick got honored, and it was guard Grace Cave on the All-Summit Honorable Mention. Again, I'm going to apologize before this starts that the stream may be choppy. We just received the starting lineups, so we are going to go through those. For Omaha, we have number 0, Aaliyah Stanley, number 4, Polina Nikolichinka. I'm going to mispronounce that throughout this game, so I apologize to her and her sister, Anna. Katie Kaitjus, Grace Cave, and Danae Watson. For the Roos, we have Elena Contreras, who's making her first start in some time. Nariah Simmons, who is making her 32nd every game. We just reconnected again. Again, apologies to anyone who is experiencing this. I understand that it's going to be difficult. We will try our best to get better connection tomorrow. We are going to figure out everything over this next night. Actually, speaking about tomorrow, if the Roos win tonight, the Roos will play the South Dakota State Jackrabbits tomorrow at 3 p.m. The Jackrabbits are the first seed in this Summit League, going undefeated in conference play. That's impressive regardless. Thank you for understanding here in the comments that we are experiencing these connection issues. I was not prepared for this at all, so it's taken me by surprise, and I'm hoping that we can get better connection tomorrow. So, points per game, we're looking at 73.4 for the Omaha Mavericks, as opposed to only 64.8 for the Roos. And as we mentioned earlier, the Roos are much better off the bench than they are for their starters, averaging 28 per game from their starting lineup. Hopefully, this stream isn't too bad and we can go on to have a good game where the Roos come out on top.
As we gear up for tip-off here, the Roos have got a lot of support in the arena. We've got our marching band and our dance team all the way from Kansas City. And it's great to see so many Roos out here supporting and showing some love for our team.
Yeah, it took us 7 hours just to get here, so Jazlyn Yule is at half court, and the Roos win the tip-off. Nariah Simmons currently has the ball. She passes out to Deshauna Carter into Dominique Phillips, who nearly had the ball stolen midair, and the Roos are first on the board with a Dominique Phillips quick layup.
That was a nice solid drive for right after tip-off.
Grace Cave now. Out to Kaitjus, in to Nukachina. I'm sorry, again, I mispronounced the name, and they call a travel on.
First free throw of the game.
Grace Cave averaged 29.4 minutes per game, and she's taking her first free throw. She is 82.3% from the line. Her first one is good. The pet band, the Roo Mob, is chanting for her to miss, but she does not. So that is the first 2 points for Omaha come off of free throws. As Nariah Simmons sets up, passes out to Dominique Phillips, into Jazlyn Ewell, and Deshauna Carter is looking, travels. She was looking for a lane to go in, but traveled, and now it is Maverick ball.
Seems like both teams may be experiencing some nerves as we start our first Summit League game. 2 travels this early in the game.
Grace Cave with the ball now. We actually spoke to, or at least I spoke to head coach Deanna Jackson-Durrett at a media availability earlier this week, and she was talking about how while she prefers to be seen as an underdog, her team is not used to that. There was an air ball just now, if you can hear the Roo Mob chanting that. Zelena Contreras takes a deep 2 and bounces off the back iron, nearly rebounded by Deshauna Carter, but taken by, I believe that was Danae Watson. Kaikis just hit a 3, so we are all knotted up at 5 points per side right now. Nariah Simmons with the ball. She finds herself, as we just reconnected to our streaming software, again, I apologize for this choppiness. And Polina was just fouled. Dominique Phillips picks up her first personal foul, and again, it's going to be a shooting foul. A big part of Coach Jackson-Durrett's MO this season in post-game press conferences was talking about just the foul differential between her team and her opponents as the first shot by number 4 falls. And the second bounces off the back iron, rebounded by Nariah Simmons. Nariah Simmons passed out to Dominique Phillips, who then passed out to Imani Bennett, to Tamia Ugas, and Ugas's pass just was not good enough. Now Grace Cave loses the ball, and it is picked up by, there is just a mess of players just happening there at half court. But in the end,
Dominique
the Roos
Phillips puts up a basket.
The Roos pick up 2 points.
That was a crazy back and forth between the teams. You can see that both of them are just playing as hard as they can right out of the gate.
It's do or die now. Nukachinka, I'll get it right at some point. A travel was just called there on number 4, Polina Nikolachinka. Still didn't get it right, but I was not given a pronunciation guide, so it's not my fault.
We're trying our best.
Nariah Simmons, Grace Cave with the rebound. Now Stanley puts up a shot. It's good. Aaliyah Stanley. Nariah Simmons finds herself with the ball. Top of the arc, drives in, passes out to Imani Bennett. Bennett finds a lane, puts up a shot, and it falls.
It's very back and forth between these two teams right now. Hopefully us Roos can manage to stay at this level of intensity throughout the entire game.
It's really just a matter of who can sustain their stamina. Grace Cave just put up a shot and it fell, so it's now 13-12 Roos. Elena Contreras, no good. But, Tamia Ugas nearly got it, but kind of just gave up on the rebound.
She was surrounded by 3 Omaha players, so kind of a 3 against 1.
Couldn't see who that. It was Grace Cave, puts up 3. They have their first lead of the game. The Mavericks do, 15-13. 3 fouls to none currently. 2 of those were shooting fouls. So 3 of the 15 points that the Mavericks have come off of free throws. Now Nariah Simmons puts up a 3-point shot. Off the back iron. And they call a foul. I believe this time it was on the Mavericks. We have reached the first media timeout, so we will take a break and be right back after this. Coming back from break, the Roos find themselves down 15-13, but the Roos are shooting 50% from the field right now. Well, this was printed off a little bit before. I believe they are 6 of 12 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. So, yes, they are 6 of 12, 1 of 2 from 3, have not shot a free throw. Meanwhile, I was looking at the wrong section here, but the Mavericks are shooting 62.5 from the field, 5 of 8, 66.72 of 3 from the line, or from the arc, and 75% 3 of 4 from the line. Elena Contreras now with the ball. Passes out to Nariah Simmons. Nariah Simmons takes a 3, short. Rebounded by Grace Cave. Cave finds number 4, Polina. And she passes out to 21, I believe, Kennedy Grant. That's the first player off the bench, I think, for the Mavericks. So they went the first 5 minutes of the game without a single starter coming out. As Kennedy Grant will inbound the ball. Does so to Grace Cave. Kind of an ugly inbound, but it worked nonetheless. 24, Morgan Gardner had the ball ripped out of her hands as Nariah Simmons passes to Imani Bennett. Bennett out to Tamia Ugas, out to Nariah Simmons. Simmons thought about taking 3, decided against it, put up a shot too far. Rebounded and stolen out of the hands of Morgan Gardner. Imani Bennett now trying to find anything, can't, but passes out to Alani Bennett, and it was just off the rim. Rebounded by Kennedy Grant, who took the ball into the paint immediately. Out to 14 for 3. 14 is Katie Kitejus. And the 3 was just too long. Elena Contreras now with the ball. Contreras out to Tamia Ugas. Ugas takes a short. Well, that was about a mid-range shot. And a foul was just called on Alani Bennett. It was an off-ball foul, I believe, or was it a rebounding foul? Couldn't quite tell.
I couldn't tell either.
And it looks like they might be going to the video boards for this. Or not, I'm sorry, not the video boards, but the monitor. Nope, it's going to be called a shooting foul.
Shooting two, number 4,
Nikola Chikina. I haven't watched a whole lot of this team this season, but are you starting to understand why Coach Jackson Durrett was a little frustrated with the fouls called this season?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. From the games that I did watch, I've seen quite a few fouls. I feel like we need to clean that up a little bit.
Kennedy Grant missed her first free throw off the front of the rim.
And it's good to play hard defense, but you can't let those fouls take over your game.
You're right, but sometimes it was a little ridiculous. Like one time, I believe it was against North Dakota earlier this season, the free throw differential as Dominique Phillips almost has the ball ripped, and they're going to call a jump ball, which the arrow is in favor of the Mavericks. One game this season, the foul count was 27 to 3. Or not the foul count, I'm sorry. The free throw count was 27 to 3. Now Kennedy Grant with the ball. Now Olsen tried to pass into Nicolacina, but Jazlyn Yule caught a foul there. So now it is 6-1 on the foul count, and this will be the 9th and 10th free throws shot by the Mavericks in this game. The first one's good. So we are looking at 18 to 15 in favor of the Mavericks. The second is good. Founded by Aaliyah Stanley, who then put up a paint shot for 2. Elena Contreras thought about taking 3, but didn't. Now she takes a long 2 with 4 left on the clock. And Grace Cave tried to put up a, really long shot to say the least. Just a right-handed heave, and it just missed as the buzzer sounded. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with second quarter action. Coming back from break, the Roos find themselves down in a 6-point deficit to the Omaha Mavericks. The Roos are seeded 8th. The Mavericks seeded 9th. The winner of this game will go on to play undefeated in conference, South Dakota State. The Jackrabbits, this is really their home. Mm-hmm. We're a little bit away from where South Dakota State is. I can't think of their city name off the top of my head, but they show out in droves for this.
Yeah, there are just tons of fans for South Dakota State.
Elena Contreras with the ball now. Out to Imani Bennett. And Bennett out to Lisa Thomas. Lisa Thomas puts up a really weird-looking shot, and it bounces off the back of the rim and into the hands of the Omaha Mavericks as Aaliyah Stanley gets trapped between every Roo on the court. I'm not entirely sure what they just called, but
looks like a in the paint for too long.
Well, regardless of what it was, the Roos now have the ball again, because that'll count as a turnover for the Mavericks, and Lisa Thomas has the ball.
3-second lane violation.
I see. Dominique Phillips now with the ball. And a travel is called against Dominique Phillips. So we are just seeing turnover after turnover after turnover.
The Roos need to find a way to get some momentum going back into their game and putting up some shots.
While it is technically only a 2-possession game right now, it feels like way more than that. The Mavericks just have all the momentum in the world right now, and yet another foul is going to be called on Dominique Phillips. Which I believe that is her second?
Oh, no, it was a foul on number 10, it looks like.
Oh, well, then that means Nariah Simmons just picked up her first. Grace Cave now with the ball. And she puts up a 3 off the side of the rim as Morgan Gardner just took a tumble into the Roos bench. And the ball will stay with Omaha. They're trying to figure out what's going on, at least. I believe it will stay with Omaha now. Grace Cave gets the inbound. And now Gardner with the ball tries to put up a shot with the ball after a Dominique Phillips inbound. Nariah Simmons thinks about it, doesn't take the three-point shot. Now Tamia Ugas with the ball. And a traveling foul called on Imani Bennett. I mean, she had just gotten the ball. How did she travel?
Seems like the refs are real traveling calls on the Roos.
It really seems that way. As the Roos get a steal, Nariah Simmons tried to put it up, but it bounced off the side of the rim and into the arms of a Maverick. Now, Kaikis takes a three-point shot and it drains. Quite a bit about is that this team doesn't know how to play from behind. They have winners on this team from Lee Summit North, from JUCO teams that won, Lee Summit West, and JUCO teams that just knew how to ball. So with this team taking as many losses as they did this season, the team just didn't know how to play from behind.
That's the thing about a good team, though. You got to know how to pull yourself out of that.
Precisely. Xana Cordes coming in for the Roos, number 44. She plays limited minutes, but effective minutes. As Nariah Simmons has the ball again, the Roos find themselves down by 7, 26-19. Zaire Harrell passed out to Dominique Phillips, out to Imani Bennett, who took a mid-range two-point shot, and it drained. I felt like that ball was about to hit me directly in the face as Kennedy Grant passed to Grace Cave. If that had come anywhere close to out of Grace Cave's hands, that would have gone directly at me.
I would have saved you, Zach.
Thank you. Kennedy Grant's shot fell just short off the rim and into the hands of a Roo. Nariah Simmons now has the ball. Imani Bennett now puts up a short 2, and it falls. The Roos now find themselves down by only 3 points. Is this the turning point for the Roos midway through the second quarter? I'm already looking forward to the end.
It seems like it might be. I mean, we've got so much support here, and you can hear the band in the background of every play just cheering on the Roos, and that's so important for the atmosphere of the team.
And there's Xana Cordes. Oh, barely off the rim. Just rolled right off. As now Kennedy Grant back with the ball. Now, one point that I wanted to make there real quick was that shots just weren't falling for the last few possessions for the Mavericks. So if they stop falling, then and the Roos start falling, as a traveling foul is called this time on on the Mavericks. So yet another possession without points. As we've reached the under 5 timeout, I'm going to finish my thought here real quick and we'll go to break. If the Roos start landing these shots during the Mavericks' funk, they're going to find themselves right back in this game or even in the lead. So I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be right back with the last quarter of this half. Contreras actually doesn't have any assists, so getting more. Shot clock violation on the Roos, but it doesn't matter as the rebound came to the Mavericks, or went to the Mavericks. With the ball now, passes out to.
3-point disadvantage right now, so.
Things are looking good for the Roos. They're not ideal. As Lucy Gaffon checks in for the Mavericks. Zaire Harrell has the ball for the Roos. Nearly a crazy pass out of bounds to Nariah Simmons, but she gathered it. Simmons did. And Simmons puts up a shot too far. Now Kennedy Grant travels. These refs really, really like the traveling call. Elena Stanley checks back in for the Mavericks. Believe that was in place of, I can't quite tell, but for me to pronounce their names.
That is pretty cool, though, to come all the way from Russia.
It really is. Respect to them for sticking with the basketball game and playing here in Sioux Falls for us.
Oh.
And that's going to be called a charge on. Now, I think it was a little dramatized, I won't lie. But Nariah Simmons is trying to make her case, won't do anything.
It's pretty rare that you see a charge. Simmons seems a little bit upset about it. I mean, I would be too.
I would be as well. As Simmons comes out, I believe replacing her is, I can't tell who's new. Deshauna Carter. Deshauna Carter is new on the court. Number 12 for the Roos, as Kite with the ball right now for the Mavericks, out to Grace Cave. To Aaliyah Stanley. Sorry, yes, Aaliyah Stanley. I think I've been saying Elena lately, but it is Aaliyah. And another foul, this time on the Mavericks. And Nikola Chikina gets her first foul called on her. Zelina Contreras brings the ball down the court. Zaire Harrell out to Amani Bennett. Minute left in this second quarter. Grace Cave to Aaliyah Stanley and a big tumble. And it looks like Zaire might be like a signaled block, but you know. So Elena Contreras takes the ball down the court with 50 seconds left in this half. If they can tie up the game or even take the lead in this last 45 seconds, that would be phenomenal as Jazlyn Ewell just throws the ball directly to Aaliyah Stanley.
I think that's the second time that Stanley has received a pass not intended for her.
As Grace Cave seems comfortable taking as much time off the clock as possible. We've got 20 seconds left and only 10 seconds left on this shot clock. As number 22, Cora Olsen, puts up a shot, no good, rebounded by... we've only got 7 seconds left in this, as now Olsen again has the ball and drops it in with, I will assume there's about 0.6 seconds left on this clock. They're just calling this as it is. They're calling it halftime. I don't believe it actually will be halftime, but
there it is.
They're just calling it. So Your score at half, as this buzzer keeps going off,
An 11 fly sports bar of Sioux Falls for a free 60-ounce 11 fly line. Omaha expires Tuesday, March 12th. And let's check out some of the replay action. Benjamin Ball painting.
You never know.
Now, I won't say that I've seen a bad call yet, but 13 as Stanley gets set to take her second shot. And the second also goes in, so 11 of 14 from the line as Nariah Simmons now has the ball. It is a 30-23 game. As Ilani passes to Imani, and Imani loses the ball.
They really didn't make it easy on us with their names. Oh. Got a fast break down to Stanley. Just made a layup for the Mavericks.
Mavericks now have a 9-point lead. Can the Roos cut into this in the next 18 and change minutes? Not Deshauna Carter. Yes, that is Deshauna Carter. Had the ball there for a second. She gets it back, and one.
And one. Let's hope this is the start of shifting the momentum towards the Roos and putting some points back up on the board, because like I said earlier in the game, once they lose the lead, they kind of
don't get it back.
Yeah.
Now, Grace Cave just picked up her second foul of the game, which might be a little bit important coming down the stretch, as I believe both free throws were good. Yes, both free throws were good.
Well, she only shot one because.
Oh yeah, and one.
Yeah.
I might be a little off right now.
Hey, it's the first game. Of hopefully many to come.
Yes, hopefully we get to see more games tomorrow and down even later. That will be Nariah Simmons. Yes.
Got some head shakes from Coach Jackson Durrett after Simmons made her third foul. Couldn't really tell if it was more of a head shake at the refs or a head shake at Simmons, but regardless.
She is a tough love type of leader. So Lisa Thomas now charges in and drains a nice little layup there. Grace Cave again with the ball. Passes out to Aaliyah Stanley. Stanley gets fouled. That's the fourth foul in 2.5 minutes. Elena Contreras checking in place of Deshauna Carter. And Lisa Thomas picks up her first foul. Aaliyah Stanley now at the line shooting 2. And the Roos are already in danger of putting the Mavericks into the bonus, as the first shot rolls out. That actually looked to me like it should have gone in, but it didn't. as the Roos mob chants, "Do it again." And I could not agree more. Do it again. Well, she didn't. She made that one. As Lisa Thomas takes the ball down the court. I would like to see Elena Contreras get a little more involved. We'll just have to see. And she gets the ball. She's just kind of standing there. Now she moves. Passes out to Lisa Thomas. Thomas.
All right, we've got first time out of the second half.
And I do not believe this will be a media timeout. It was called by, oh, it is a media timeout. So, we'll be right back. Polina Nukolocina with the ball. Passes out to Grace Cave. Out to Aaliyah Stanley. Stanley out to number 14. And 14, Katie Kitjes travels. And now Lisa Thomas with the ball.
Seems like that timeout was a little good for the Roos. They seem to have a little bit more spark back into their game.
I would completely agree as Jazlyn Ewell travels.
Well, they can have all the energy in the world, but if they can't put it into their game, then...
Did she even take 2 steps? She had literally just gotten the ball. Now, number 1, Watson passes out to Aaliyah Stanley, now to Nikolachinka. And I'm back to mispronouncing that name. Watson with the ball out to Stanley. Stanley takes a 3-point shot off the back iron, rebounded by Lisa Thomas. Thomas now charging down the court, passes out to Imani Bennett. Bennett out to Lisa Thomas. Thomas doing her point guard stuff as a forward. Now Imani Bennett takes a 3-point shot off the back iron and nearly rebounded by Tamia Ugas, but a fast break. Nukolachkina and the ball bounced out of bounds. I believe it's going to stay with.
The Roos are shooting their second free throw of the game.
Second and third, and it looks like we will see Tamia Ugas at the line. First one in and out. Now Tamia is a 62.2% shooter from the line, so that first one missed. Stats would tell you the second one will go in. It does. Stats never lie. Stats lie quite a bit, but now we see Kennedy Grant with the ball out to Aaliyah Stanley. Stanley had a screen set for her, passes to Watson. Watson puts up a shot that falls. Roos find themselves down by 7 now with 5:20 left in the half. As Imani Bennett has the ball, passes out to Lisa Thomas. Thomas out to Contreras. Can Contreras find her spark? She doesn't even try. Out to Imani Bennett. Bennett into Tamia Ugas. Ugas to Contreras. Contreras, no good. Ewell gets the rebound. Rebounded to, or pass to Contreras. Contreras to Bennett. Bennett drains that three.
There's that 3 that we've been needing.
That is only, I believe, their 4th 3 that they have shot all day. But now, Kennedy Grant with the ball. Grant to Nikolachkina. Nearly loses the ball. Gets it out to Watson. Watson to Grant to Nuklachkina, and her shot was just too far. Now Elena Contreras with the ball. Contreras finds her three. Can she get it? No!
It was close, though.
It was very close. It was in and out, but disappointing nonetheless, and a little worrisome for Contreras. She's been their three threat all game. And the Mavericks take a timeout. Will this be a media timeout? Just a 30-second. Looks like it's media. So we'll be back right after this. Thomas trying to find a shot, passes out to Zaire Harrell into Tamia Ugas. And Ugas traveled? Well, this officiating crew really loves calling travels.
Yep. Would have been nice. You guys put up that shot and made it.
Well, she did
traveling.
make that shot, but it didn't count. And it was quite an impressive backhand shot, too. Out to Imani Bennett. Bennett's shot, and it goes right in. Nothing but net for Imani Bennett. She is on fire. Now, Grant for the Mavericks. Imani Bennett with 14 points. And that shot by the Mavericks, no good. Rebounded, though, by Watson. Now Stanley has the ball out to Grant. Grant out to Kite to Watson. Watson goes charging in, tries to find the net, and does. Now, Zaire Harrell out to Lisa Thomas. And it looks like Jazlyn Ewell is going to try to check back in. Imani Bennett with the ball now, the hot hand. Contreras, Lisa Thomas. Trying to find a path in, 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Zaire Harrell out to Elena Contreras. Contreras, 6 seconds, puts up a shot, airballed. Stanley with the ball now for the Mavericks. Stanley to Nuklachkina. Kite and that is Grant. Back to Kite back to Stanley. Stanley to Watson. Tamia Ugas nearly picked that off, but didn't. And that one did not find its way into the net. Lisa Thomas nearly lost the ball, but managed to grab it back, and she has it back after passing out to Elena Contreras. Tamia Ugas puts up a shot and it falls. The Roos now find themselves down by only 5. Second bounces, it doesn't even bounce in, it just goes straight in. Lisa Thomas now. Roos down by 6. 33 seconds left in this, what feels like a very short third quarter.
I must say I'm impressed that they haven't let the Mavericks get an incredibly large lead so far, and they've held them. The only thing is we just need our shots to fall.
Jump ball. No, not a jump ball. Did the ball go out of bounds?
No, it didn't. Maybe it did.
No shot clock now for the Mavericks as Imani Bennett somehow turned the ball over, as we are both very confused by that call, but nonetheless, 9 seconds remain on this shot clock, or on this game clock. And Kite just with the ball out to Nikola Chkina, puts up the shot, and the third quarter comes to an end. The Roos find themselves down by 6, 43-37. And finally, the Roos can get themselves out of the bonus, get the Mavericks out of the bonus, because they've been in the bonus for a good majority of that third quarter. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be back with the final quarter of action for this first round game between the Omaha Mavericks and Kansas City Roos. Coming back from break, we're looking at our last quarter of action. It's do or die now for the Roos. Now, I'm looking up here, and the bench for the Roos have 19 of the 37 points. So they're sticking with the theme of the season. Now, Dominique Phillips makes what I believe is her first appearance of the half. But looking at the game sheet, the box score that we were given, I noticed the Roos are only 16-44, so defense has been the story for both sides. We'll take a look back at the game now as Elena Contreras passes to Imani Bennett. Bennett passes back to Contreras, and she passes out to Lisa Thomas. Thomas has her pass tipped but caught by Elena Contreras. Back out to Thomas. Thomas with 5 seconds on the shot clock, and Dom Phillips puts up a shot, hits the rim, no good, but she gets the rebound back, puts up another shot, no good, rebounded this time by Omaha. And I'm sorry, I ran out of water midway through the second quarter, so my throat's a little dry right now. I may have a little bit of trouble calling this game for the rest of the way, but I'll make sure to fix that tomorrow.
Gonna need to bring a jug of water.
Yes, a little bit of a training day for me, as a foul is called on Jazlyn Yule. That's her second of the game.
It didn't even look like she was anywhere near the ball.
I think it was a reach over foul,
maybe.
But nonetheless, again, 55 seconds into the quarter, the Roos find themselves with a foul. And I'll tell you, Coach will not be a big part of the difference in this game. The Roos find themselves still fighting and still clawing on defense. Nikola Chkina has come out of the game. And Kennedy Grant is at the line shooting two. The first shot is good, straight down, nothing but net. And the second is good. The Roos are down by 8 with 8 minutes and 38 seconds left in potentially their season. If they don't find something now, then they won't find anything until next November, or this November. And the foul is called now on Danae Watson. Danae Watson, her career, first team foul. As now it looks like Elena Contreras will inbound for the Roos. Does so to Jazlyn Yule. Now Nariah Simmons has the ball. Takes the three, off the back iron. and out of bounds on the Roos. 45-37 is your score. 8 minutes and 15 seconds left in this game and potentially the season for the Kansas City Roos. Now Grace Cave with the ball. Cave out to Stanley. Stanley into Grant. Grant back out to Cave. Cave takes a three. No good. Rebounded by Dominique Phillips. Phillips out to... And Stanley checks out of the game, but nope. Danae Watson does appear to be off the court. And the first shot by Nariah Simmons is good. And Simmons' second shot is also good. Nikola Chkina inbounded the ball to Kennedy Grant. Now Nikola Chkina out to Grace Cave. Cave into Nikola Chkina as Morton Gardner out to Grant, and Nikola Chkina, her shot is good. Imani Bennett now with the ball out to Lisa Thomas. Thomas into Dominique Phillips, who puts up a shot, and it's good. The Roos finally break 40, and they are down by 6, 47-41. If the Roos defense can hold up and the Roos offense can start draining some shots, this game isn't over. Grant out to what appears to be Olsen. Olsen out to Cave. Cave to Grant. Grant, her pass was into now an injured player. I can't quite tell who it is, but their thoughts, or our thoughts, are with them. It appears that Olsen was the one who was down, but she appears to be fine as the Mavericks set to inbound. They do so to Nikola Chkina, and Mary Thomas gets fouled. So,
wow. Looks like the refs are changing up their foul calls this last quarter.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That foul was called on. No, it was on Olsen. So, okay,
Yeah.
they just switched it. Okay. Up on the board, it showed that it was 3 fouls on the Roos. Regardless, Lisa Thomas at the line shooting 2, and her first bounces off the back iron. The Roos are in the bonus with 6 minutes left in this game. The second shot, also off. Cora Olsen rebounds the ball. Out to Kennedy Grant. Now there are 3 Roos on the court with 3 fouls. As the ball gets, well, they're going to call a jump ball on that, and the possession arrow is in favor of the Mavericks. There are 3 Roos on the court with 3 5, so it's looking like it may have been an announcer's jinx when I said the calls were 4-2. So, you know, Kennedy Grant now at the line shooting 2. First shot, good. The Mavericks are now 17 of 22 from the line to the Roos 4 of 7. The second shot is good, 18 of 24. Lisa Thomas, no, yeah, that is Lisa Thomas with the ball now. Thomas out to Dominique Phillips, 15 seconds on the shot clock to Ilani Bennett, to Imani, to Tamia Ugas. Dominique Phillips takes a 3, no good. Next stoppage will be a media timeout. As Cave dribbles around, trying to drain as much time off the clock as possible. Drives into the lane, passes out.
To nobody.
And Lisa Thomas now with the ball, driving, puts up a shot, and it drains. Nice fast break. 45-51. Now it is only a 6-point game.
We are not out of this, Zach.
No, they are not. And a timeout called. This will be a media timeout. We'll be right back. Fourth quarter, what will be the last update for the box score for the game. The Roos are shooting 3 of 11 from the three-point line, which 2 of those have come from Imani Bennett. Now, do you continue to feed the hot hand at Imani Bennett, or do you try to get someone else to shoot that last shot as the Roos are down 6 to either tie or win this game?
You know what, Zach, I feel like at this point, we shouldn't just rely on one player to put down that shot. We got to have everybody, all hands in, trying to get some points up on the board. We've only got 3 minutes, 35 seconds left of this game. Everyone needs to be trying to put shots up.
It's going to come down to it as Dom Phillips picks up her 4th foul of the day. Now, do you keep her in or do you take her out with only 3:30 left in the game?
Well, it looks like Jackson Dredd is going to keep her in.
I can agree with that. I think that keeping her in is probably the best move. She is one of the toughest players that you'll see on this court, as Nugalchina's first free throw is no good. She can make it a 3-possession game with this second free throw, and she does. It's Dominique Phillips now to Elena Contreras to drive to carry the ball down the court. Contreras to Imani Bennett. Bennett back out to Contreras. Contreras to Nariah Simmons, who's back in. Simmons charges in, puts up a shot, no good. 3:10 left in this game. As now Grant has the ball for the Mavericks. And a foul is called on Imani Bennett. Nikolachkina at the line now shooting 2 with under 3 minutes left in this game, 2:59. Now, I'm going to be quite honest here, Jazlyn. If they go down 10 with 3 minutes left in the game, I don't see a way they come back.
It is a little discouraging having 2 fouls called within like seconds of each other.
As Grant checks out for the Mavericks. We're waiting just a second for something to happen. Here we go. A current trend just popped up on the, well, now it's away on the box score that we have up here that had the Roos on a 3-minute and 25-second scoring drought. And now it is about to be, with this next shot, it has potential to be 55-45. And it is. Dominique Phillips, Elena Contreras, Imani Bennett, Tamia Ugas, and Nariah Simmons. Will they be the heroes of Kansas City women's basketball, or will they go out in a very discouraging manner? Dominique Phillips puts up a 2-point shot at drains. Will these 5 be the heroes, marking their names up with the mighty 7 of last season, or will this game go down as the end of a very disappointing season as Dominique Phillips steals the ball, passes to Nariah Simmons. Simmons back to Dominique Phillips. Phillips puts up another shot, no good, rebounded by Imani Bennett, so keep that in mind. One timeout left for the Mavericks. Now, anyone who's paid attention to Roos women's basketball will remember last season's first round game with a buzzer beater to end it in the Roos' favor. They were not favored in that game as the 10 seed playing against the 7. We'll just have to see how this one turns out as Grant has the ball for the Mavericks. She gets trapped. Nikola Chkina with the ball now. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Dominique Phillips up against Nikola Chkina. It's 4-on-4 violence. Tamia Ugas tried to steal the ball, couldn't. And a shot clock violence. Grace Cave checks back in for the Mavericks. She is the heart and soul of this Mavericks team. Zaire Harrell checks in for Tamia Ugas. I believe this may be one of the last substitutions we see of this game. We're coming down to the wire, folks. Full court pressure by the Roos. As Grant breaks away from Zaire Harrell. Grant taking as much time off this clock as she can, driving into the lane, and she puts up a shot, but it's no good, and it is rebounded by Nariah Simmons. She is pushed out of bounds, and they are going to review this at the video boards with 1:11 left in the game to see who that ball was out on. Now, the time leading in this game, look up at that video board there, 31-51 by the Mavericks to only 4 minutes and 52 seconds for the Roos.
Wow.
24 points by the Roos starters to 25 by the Roos bench. One minute and 11 seconds, Jazlyn. Do you think they can do it?
You know what, Zach? I am going to keep my hopes high. I know that might be a lot to do in a minute and 11 seconds, but for our seniors, I just want us to pull through.
3 turnovers in the last 2 minutes and 1 second for Omaha. Honestly, Jazlyn, I feel like I'm about to have my heart broken, but I'm so excited for this team. I want to see them celebrate. I want to see the energy, and I want to see Coach Jackson Durrett finally get the respect she deserves for being such a great coach.
I completely agree with you, Zach. It is a very, very intense situation that we are in right now. Is 57.5 seconds enough for the Roos to pull through?
Well, Coach Jackson Durrett called a timeout, so that's their first of 3. And remember, both teams are in the big note. Last year in the game against North Dakota State where the Roos lost after 2 straight wins in the tournament, I saw assistant coach Paul Fessler, the one over there in that yellow shirt, just break his glasses on the ground. And I haven't seen him do that today, so that's improvement.
Yep.
Here comes Nariah Simmons inbounding, and she does so barely to Imani Bennett. And now a pass out to Nariah Simmons, a 3, a beautiful 3 by Dominique Phillips, and it is only a 3-point game now.
Full court pressure.
52-55. The scoreboard has not updated. There it goes. They're calling that 2, which I completely disagree with. And a steal, Imani Bennett going down with the ball. She passes out to Nariah Simmons. It's a 2-point game!
Oh.
Timeout, Omaha Mavericks. Nariah Simmons with a beautiful backhand shot that just drains 29.2 left on the clock. It is 53-55. They did count her 3. I believe it was Imani Bennett's 3, am I correct?
It was Dom Phillips.
Dominique Phillips 3, thank you for correcting me. Dominique Phillips 3, they did count it as a 2, and I don't think they're going to go and review that during this timeout. But like I said, Omaha called a timeout 30 seconds left. Omaha's out of timeouts. Kansas City has 2. I can't even keep my thoughts straight right now.
I am
This
just buzzing,
team-
Zach. I am just, if they can pull through with this or maybe even go into overtime, that would just be so much for the
It would
Roos.
mean everything for this team. I've called games and watched this team, and Zaire fouled Grace Cave, so we are going to see it go to either a Grace Cave will shoot 2. It will either be a 3 or a 4-point game here with 25.2 seconds left. I don't.
This is certainly nerve-wracking.
Yes, it is, Jazlyn. Here comes Grace Cave. The Roo mob is loud. Her first shot is good. It is a 3-point game. If she misses this second, a 3 ties it. 25.2, though, in 2 timeouts. The Roos have plenty of time to change things up here. This second shot by Grace Cave. Oh, she made it. It's a 4-point game, 2 possessions. Timeout Roos. What will Coach Deanna Jackson-Durrett draw up for this team?
Well, out of their last time out, they came out pretty headstrong, so I'm sure she's going to lay it on them.
Now, I don't know if you can see this right now, but I am kind of shaking. My heart rate's a little high right now.
Me too. I can't tell if it's just because I'm cold or
It is a
I'm
little
excited.
chilly in here. Now, up next after this game, Oral Roberts takes on the South Dakota Coyotes. And to be quite honest, here comes Nariah Simmons again inbounding the ball. She successfully inbounds to Dominique Phillips as Tamia Ugas takes a 3. It's no good, and it looks like a reach-over foul was called against the Mavericks on number 14, Katie Kaitjes. 4.1 seconds